knowing if that will increase, decrease, or have any effect on the property value of the parents.
So yeah, just to sum up, I have no financial interest in the property personally, and as Mr. Beecher said, I have no indication of knowing whether property value decrease, increase, stay the same for this development. So therefore, those are my disclosures, and I will be voting based on advice from council.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're in a public hearing, and this is a discussion item only, so the public is free to discuss more. Mr. Rogers or whoever has some other comments, we'll try to keep it as brief as we can, but you're free during this public hearing. The public is free to comment on the item as they see it. So if there's anybody on the phone, please feel free, or during this public hearing, which is discussion only. Or if there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak, please come forward.
Are these limited to 3 minutes?
Pardon?
Is the comments, are they limited to 3 minutes?
Yes, we're gonna limit it to 3 minutes. Instead of going over the
Once again, I'm absolutely against this until you do a study to see what this valley can handle. I mean, we all think that there's a lot of water there. The line's giving you 3,000–4,000 gallons a minute. You don't know what's gonna happen when you start pulling the water out, and all the irrigators and the people who live in town water their tulips and everything. There's no way of knowing how much it's gonna take. And, I measured my well Monday, I'm down 4 feet now. So, everything is at peaches and cream here. And I think that you need to put this on the table, stop it, and tell you to get somebody, get a hydrologist, figure out what the hell this valley can handle. Because remember, you're putting a thing into the state that you're good for 100 years. You haven't got it, I can tell you that now. And I think that you better take a long, hard look at things away from today. You know, there's lots of golf courses out there across Timbers, and there's one up here on top of the hill. I think that you better look and see what the hell we got, because I think it's getting out of hand. And nobody has an idea how much water is being drawn out of this aquifer through all the little 1,000 little pipes. So I think that everybody says, oh, we got all this water. It's all on a piece of paper. Get something that you can put your teeth into, because you got nothing now. This is just a guess, and by God, we're going to try it.
Bill, how many years have you been measuring your well?
About 17. Just as an example, nobody knows what this valley does. Look at the airport. You measured the airport, 40 feet.
And Bill has been doing this for the county for a number of years through the Central Nevada Regional Water Authority and with the help also of USGS.
Yeah. And
So I just wanted to, he knows what he's talking about when he brings this up, because he's been doing it for our county for a long time.
You go down the road a quarter of a mile straight down to Bob Robinson's place. It's 125 feet. Nobody knows what's here. The golf course, they've got good water there. You go up there by the fairgrounds, water's what, 25, 30 feet? You go straight across to where Billy Locke's got the gravel plant, that's 125 or 30 feet of water. There's no telling where in the hell it's at. And everybody says we've got this many 1,000-acre feet. Well, I think it's time to put up or shut up. I think that we're gonna have to get somebody and find out what's out there. Because there's a lot of people, won't go there, but they got no right to do it.
Okay, your 3 minutes are good, Bill, but we appreciate, your 3 minutes are up, and we
Oh,
appreciate.
good, yeah, well, I know, we got 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I'll be back.
I'm just trying to make this meeting run smoothly, and so comments are more than welcome, but we're gonna try to limit it to the 3 minutes, as we always do, so that we can get everybody in who has to speak, and we can also move forward with our agenda items. This thing isn't gonna happen overnight, so please, stay to the 3 minutes, get your point across. If you need a little more, we're accommodating that too, but let's just get to the point and stay to the 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jim Allworth. I'm a county resident, lived in the city of Ely for the last 48 years, hope to die here. This is regarding public comment regarding the White Pine County owned water rights for use in the White Pine water power pump storage project. At this time, I would like to express my concerns with mainly the upper reservoir being proposed. Water will be pumped to the upper reservoir to be constructed at a location on the west side of the Duck Creek Basin at an elevation of 8,500 feet. This dam being proposed to be built will be 59 acres in maximum surface area. Putting this into perspective, a football field is 1.32 acres. Simple math, 59 acres divided by 1.32 acres equates to 45 full-size football fields in surface disturbance for the upper reservoir. And for use as another comparison, Cave Lake is described as 32-acre reservoir. This reservoir on top of that mountain is twice that size plus. There will be no fishing or sitting on the beach of the upper reservoir. It will be surrounded by a 6-foot fence. The construction of this dam is going to require large earth-moving equipment for its construction. To get this equipment to the dam's location, a road will have to be built. Starting from the main Duck Creek Road to the dam's location at 8,500 feet, just how much public land is going to be disrupted? White Pine Water Power has even mentioned this access road will be paved for future access to the dam for maintenance and monitoring. If this project goes forward, the target date is in the year 2030, with a projected lifespan of 80+ years. Duck Creek Basin, as we know and see it today, will be lost and only in memory. In closing, I strongly suggest that White Pine County hold a public hearing to discuss the whole project being proposed by White Pine Water in our area, and not just public hearings on segments of the project. Respectfully, Jim Alwood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, it's just, go ahead, go ahead, who is this? Go ahead on the phone, who is it?
it's Mike Oster on Zoom.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
All right, thank you, sir, and thank you all for your work. I speak as a resident out in Cross Timbers. I can do this in less than 3 minutes. I oppose below market value sale of any county asset direct and principal benefit to the county I would have. The advocates here are talking about state specifically, moments ago, talking about the state and national benefits of this program in the large picture without mentioning benefits to the county. And I think the nominal benefits that were identified this morning, as well as in the city council meeting last week, I think it was last week that I attended, are illusory and actually in reality quite small. I want to mention that the loss of 4,800 acre-feet of water from the mine is coming. And at the same time, this project will be drawing over 5,000 acre-feet of water out of the same basin, the basin in which I live. I'm following some notes I jotted down. The project has made it known that they will later be seeking tax abatements from the county. That turns this project, a project that can be very attractive in concept, into one where White Pine County subsidizes electrical power to be used exclusively outside of the county. Next point, there is no hydrological study even contemplated at this point, and I don't know how you will make the statutorily required findings by writing them up tomorrow and adopting them at the next meeting when the factual groundwork is not there. Lastly, I am generally pro-hydropower among the choices of alternative energy. I think that advocates, again, perpetuate the fiction of cheap solar and wind when that's documented to not be the case, and in the real world, it's not the case in those states such as California that have set high quotas for alternative energy and for which the consumers are paying on a monthly basis. I know I pay electrical utilities in California myself. If we can have information about the water usage through a hydrological study and confidence in that information, I could support this project. But at this point, I don't. And I, again, highlight my global concern that the county should not be selling its assets at below market value absent a direct benefit to the county residents. I thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Rogers, you were coming up.
Gleason Creek since 2010. In 2020, the mine released on average 34,000 gallons of water per minute, which flows into the Steptoe Valley Aquifer. The mine has stated water released through Gleason Creek would end roughly in 2024. That is on average in 2020, 17.7 acre feet daily, and for a total of roughly 6,500 acre feet in 2020. No matter the location in Steptoe Valley, dewatering coming to a halt in this project would cause long-term negative effects on our aquifer. My next issue is the appraisal and agreed value of the water rights. NRS 244.27952 states the county commission is to set forth a resolution to set the qualifications of the appraisers. During my review and research of the county commission meeting minutes, I never saw a resolution passed outlining this process by which an appraiser list was created or what qualifications were required to be placed on this list. I did see, however, that one bid was returned and that's who produced the appraisal. How was this person chosen and how come the value is so low? The acceptance and lease or sell these water rights will greatly devalue the water rights that me and the rest of the farmers and ranchers own in the county. The appraiser comes in far short of what they are worth. The appraiser states, however, as subject water rights are for industrial use and not agriculture or quasi-municipal use, their value would be at the lower end of the value range indicated by all comparable water rights research. Had the county commission used the resources at the Water Advisory Committee during these negotiations, the commission would know that this is false and this would have been brought to your attention sooner. Again, at the December 9, 2020 commission meeting, the issue of tax abatement was brought up. When White Pine Water Power LLC was questioned, there was no real answer available. But in response, Mr. Riesta stated a $2 billion project will look for some type of an abatement. But he sure knew what they did not have to pay. So here we are, the most precious resource that the county has owned and has the most precious resource the county owns and has spent the last 30 years fighting for and protecting. Now you want to give it away for a fraction of its value. You have not considered the long-range effects on the restricted basin. You have not considered the effects of the residents who own property and raise families who will be affected. You have not considered the impacts on farms in the restricted basin, like mine, who will be affected by these actions. For the purpose of NRS 533.550, the Commission must find all the following provisions have been met under subparagraph 1. In the January 27, 2021 special meeting minutes, DA Weeble advised the board to not vote today, but their approval was expressed. It was a de facto approval. How is this in compliance with NRS 533.550? The decision was made without written findings and without a public hearing. Your actions violate this statute. You have produced no written findings on why this is permanent long-term management of the water. You have made no written findings on the impacts to residences or businesses, and you have made no written findings on how this will assist in development and use of the water rights. You have made no written findings on how this ensures the county will receive actual value of the water rights or comparable economic benefit. I do not know how the Commission can vote to lease or sell these water rights before it makes the required findings from NRS 533.550 subsection 1 in writing, because you have not complied with this statute. You cannot pass this today. As I've indicated, there is no economic development. Should this project go through and it negatively affects those in the restricted basin, either by loss of value to their water or property rights, what little, if any, value is gained by this project is lost by the loss of farms, ranches, and homes. Abandoned properties do not pay property taxes. Abandoned properties do not purchase goods.
Okay, you're 3 minutes up, we just got to stay up. We're just trying to stay, I'm not trying to interrupt or be rude, but we have a long meeting here going on, we've heard several comments. Now, we're on the discussion item, the commission will discuss.
I just would ask, when we get to the discussion on the items, that we do allow input from our members of our water committee.
Yeah, okay, but we're in discussion right now. And
Right, I understand public hearing, we limit it, but I would like to see the members of our water committee allowed to be involved in the discussion when we get to the items.
Especially under the circumstances that they have not been able to have meetings because they did not have somebody to take minutes. So this has not been allowed to even go before the Water Advisory Board for the last several months.
You have public comment in the back.
Gary's on the phone. Gary Correa, is that you?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
I want to mention a few things. First, I want to compliment Bert Hilton on his appraisal. It's very hard to come up with a value on water. I've seen wide ranges of values, and it is kind of tough. I do think it's a little low. However, I'm not sure that should be a real factor. The reason the county has those water rights document to their projection between 20 and 26 employees. I think the value or the place on the water should be placed on the number of employees. Possibly if they go below 20 employees, the rate of the water should go up. And on the other hand, if the number of employees go up, if the number of employees go down, that the water should go up, and if the water or the number of employees goes up, maybe the water value should go down. I also share the water concerns, the water level. I think that in the agreement, the county should ask that they have some monitoring wells that they can measure as the pumping goes on. This is one of the things that, should have gone to the Water Advisory Board. The Water Advisory Board could help as far as coming up with a water monitoring plan that would help protect the county and county residents. I also would like to say, I haven't read the whole, I don't understand if they're gonna have a change of use permit for this, or application for this, or if it's gonna be the same use. But the state water engineer is trying, or has made policy, I think they're gonna try and change the Nevada water law, that once you change the use of the water, that it can't go back. So we need to be aware of that and watch what the legislature and the state water engineer does in the future. Because it may be that if we change the use of this water, it may not be able to be reversed. And I think that's it. Like I said, there are a lot of things here that, and you do have the Water Advisory Board, and those people will be able to read this contract and come up with some other ideas. So that's all I have.
Thank you for your comments.
Donnie in the back.
Well, let me see who's there. No, anybody else can come up. Who's back there? Donna Val?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board, and for the record, Donna Bath, and I'm here right now as a private citizen. And I have expressed many times that I'm not in support of this project. And I'm going to disclose that we do have property on the Duck Creek side, less than a mile from where that site will be. I have many, many concerns besides my private property. I do have a water concern. And I also have a concern about the difference of information that we're receiving. And I would agree with Mr. Alberg that I think we need to stop and take a breath and have a community public meeting if need be. The water and Steptoe Valley, Duck Creek Basin, these are all things that are very important to our community as a whole. And I don't think all the information is getting out there. We're, conflicting information. Every time I come to a meeting, there's something different. I heard 200 employees, then we hear 25 employees. And we just, I just like to know what it is that we're expecting out of this project, and definitely if the economic benefits do outweigh the negatives, then I would be 100% for it. But right now, I can't. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else, please come forward.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioner again. Luigi Ressa, I'm the president of R+, but also the one developing this hydro. I just want to make, and before my comments were in support of the project, we'll talk about the water issues now. A couple things on the economic side and tax abatement. We don't know, because no projects have been built in the United States for over 30 years of pump storage hydro. We will commission an economic report for the state, and I have that on the agenda to do so that we can actually come to the community and share that with everybody. And the 200 jobs would be during construction, and the 25 would be during operation. But we really want this to be a successful project for the community with all stakeholder input. So we're not trying to provide disinformation or no information to all of the stakeholders. It's really important that everybody is on board and supportive of this project. So I want everybody to hear that, and we're willing to have those conversations. We're not trying to do this. It is a long development process. FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, will be licensing the project. It's a 5-year development process. This is one of the steps. So we don't have all the answers because we're just at the beginning of uncovering the project. As far as the water rights go, our intention here is to, again, help the community to retain the water in Steptoe Valley by taking the lease that the Robinson Mine has now stopped holding that lease agreement. And our intention was to help, again, the community keep those water rights here with the lease for the 12 years. The first 5 years, they're gonna be staying in the ground. Nobody's gonna be touching them. The next 5 years is gonna be during construction, and we don't know how much water we'll use during construction for dust control and compactment, but it's not gonna exceed the 5,000 acre feet or well, I don't know. I apologize that I don't know these answers, but we're still in development. But the intention, and then the initial fill, which is 5,000 acre feet for the lower reservoir, we will definitely work with the local water users and the community, because we don't have to fill when there's a shortage. We can do it in the wintertime when there's a lot of rain and the water tables are high. We're not subject to the agricultural needs that the farms have. So the project will have flexibility, it will work with the community to do that. And then as far as, to be clear, we're talking about leasing 8,500 acre feet that's associated with 2 permits for that period of time, not using it all, but kind of building up some credit, and then buying the 750 acre feet, which would be for the ongoing obligation of filling evaporative losses of the facility. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. I'm open for discussion. We'll answer any questions as well that come in.
I have some questions. Thank you for that, Luigi. When you talk about your studies and so that you will have good information, are you going to be looking at detrimental or negative impact with the level of waters because we have several ranchers right across from that in Steptoe Valley that have been here for a long time. Corey Kemp, who is here also, and he's out across from that, he has been here a long time. So my concern, and I've mentioned this in the past about the detrimental impact, adverse impact in regards to our ranchers and farmers out there. So
Yeah, we can answer that, because actually that is conversation that was a result of the last meeting that we had. We talked with the Robinson Mine representative here, and they have extensive hydrology reports that we're now working to get for the area where we are. If they don't have the hydrology where the alluvium and where we are specifically, we'll have to commission that. We're working with basin engineers on that, and we've had discussions about not adversely affecting the local farmers and houses there, and that if we need to drill a well and sleeve it to get past into the next lower aquifer so that we're not adversely affecting, that's part of what the project will do. But we will do the hydrology report, we will do exploratory wells to make sure that it doesn't have an adverse effect, and we will be very flexible with when we draw water versus when it's available.
some of these NRSs are new to me, so I don't know if anybody else has some concerns or thoughts, and just reading the short term. One, I did not know that it was a restricted basin. I knew that it was already a closed basin, but I didn't know that area that was talked about with Cody Aldrich, that might be something, that would be something that you need to address as to how to mitigate that.
You're out of my
Well,
knowledge,
but
so
this
we could
is,
probably ask engineers.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this is what we as a board need to know in order for us to make good decisions, is the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
So that was a question also.
I mean, we have lots of experts working to make sure that we are doing this
Well,
compliant.
my problem is I'm becoming hesitant in regards to moving forward without having more definitive answers.
Okay, Shane, you got anything to say, or Travis, you got something
If
to say?
if I can interrupt real quick, just based on that, I see that Gage Lovell just unmuted himself, so he's the attorney for this company, so I'm wondering if he has something to add. Gage, are you there?
I'm happy to, thank you very much, District Attorney Beecher. I'm happy to address one of Commissioner Carson's questions, specifically regarding what was previously brought up about the change of a water use into a restricted basin or a closed basin. The orders that are in Steptoe Valley Basin are orders 731, 754, and 821. 731 is what initially put you into restricted status back in 1979. In 1980, the certain area that we're looking at was made irrigation non-preferred use by the state engineer. So irrigation cannot be done there. It will not allow new appropriation. However, in 1983, the state engineer under order 821 did state the preferred use in that area is industrial power generation. Water rights that you hold at Steptoe, or to West Pine County rather, are all industrial usage. So I'd be happy to talk to the individual who spoke earlier. I think his name was Cody or Corey, I apologize, but to discuss the legality behind it. But from our point of view, in my discussion with the state engineer, I don't think we would have a problem transferring the water rights, county-owned, under change application, to be moved into that area specifically for the preferred use under State Order 821, industrial power generation. It is exactly what the usage would be. Following that, it would then go back and representing what I think Gary Correa brought up, asking about the change of use application, and understandably so, and his fear that they might have a change of use and he would not be able to get them back as industrial. Our change application would merely be point of diversion and place of use. It would not change your type of use or your beneficial use. This would stay, as the county has them now, as industrial power. That's exactly what they'll be used for, and they'll be used according to the state engineer's own orders in your Steptoe Valley Basin, which is Basin 179. So from our legality perspective, in my discussion with the state engineer, I have not noticed an issue with our ability to change them. I'd be happy to talk to the state engineer and people on the Water Commission about that. So far, we've not found a legal issue.
Okay, we're really carrying this on. This probably should be one big town hall meeting like one of the audience members did, because we can be here all day long with differences of opinion and this and that and the other. So Travis has something to say. I welcome that, and so let's hear that. But we're gonna try to move this meeting along.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So yeah, I can appreciate that everyone, you know, has their tepidness and concerns and et cetera. But at the end of the day, these guys have to have their special use permit from the county. And if there is ever any violations along, please, the county can revoke that special use permit. So I'm okay with moving ahead of this, and if there was ever a time when Luigi or the company isn't being truthful with us and doesn't do something properly, we can pull that permit. So I don't think to hold this thing up at this stage does anybody much justice, and that's just my two things. And if they do go off a bad track, then we can revoke the special use permit, and that's that. So that's where I stand on this. And second point is, you know, with the Green New Deal and our governor, our mines are under attack. What the hell is this town going to be when there's no mines? Then we're going to be getting bitched at that there's nothing here for anybody. So have it either way you want, but I've always been pro-economic development, and as long as it keeps being done responsibly, then I'm fine with this. But the writing's on the wall for this community that if we don't do something and want to be against everything, that we will be canceled.
Thank you.
I want to state that I am not against it. I just want to be sure that we have good information.
Okay. Shane, you anything to add?
Yeah, I'm kind of in a position with, between you guys. I think the economic development of this community is paramount. I think we're on the brink of seeing some changes politically that are gonna dramatically affect us over the long term. But I do think we have missed a step or two here. I would like to see, I was reminded when Mr. Goebel spoke up, I mean, just how quickly we can dispel a lot of this if we go through the steps properly, and we get our water board put together a meeting to allow these questions to be answered directly and have that done. So we're not under the gun to try and hammer that out here and as quick as possible in a meeting and then try to move on to the rest of the agenda. I would like to just take a step back, let this go through our water board, which should be our procedure, and due to an issue with just not having a board secretary, that we had to overstep that one. I'd like to see us just back up to that step. I'd like to see those answered to our water advisory board, and then I'd like to see it brought back to us at that time. And it sounds like a pain in the neck, but in the long term, it's